You know that feeling, don't you? Everything's going well. Maybe you've been talking to someone and for a while it feels natural, easy. She's responsive, engaged, and you're starting to believe that maybe this time things are actually moving in the right direction. You feel that warmth, that hope, and then something shifts. It's not dramatic. There's no big announcement, but you notice it. The texts get shorter. The responses take longer. Where she used to initiate contact, now you're always the one reaching out. The energy that felt so alive just quiets down. The hardest part isn't the distance itself. It's the questions that start flooding your mind at 3 in the morning. Did I say something wrong? Is she losing interest? Am I not enough? Is she seeing someone else? Your chest gets tight, your mind won't stop spinning, and because you're uncomfortable, you do what feels natural. You try to fix it. You send another message, then maybe another. You think about calling. You draft a long text explaining your feelings, hoping that if she just understands how much you care, she'll come back around. You tell yourself that if you just show her one more time how much this matters, she'll remember why she was interested in the first place. But here's what actually happens. She pulls away even more, and that's when most men make the biggest mistake of their entire journey. They don't understand that her distance isn't the real problem. The problem is how they react to it. I want you to think about something for a moment. In your experience as a man, and you've probably been around long enough to know this, what kind of man do you respect most? Is it the guy who falls apart when things get uncertain? Is it the man who needs constant reassurance that he's okay? Or is it the man who can stay calm and centered even when he doesn't have all the answers? The answer is obvious, isn't it? Women feel the exact same way. When a woman steps back, whether it's because she's genuinely confused about what she wants, or she's testing your emotional strength, or she's simply dealing with her own stuff she's watching, she's observing how you handle pressure, how you manage uncertainty, how you stay grounded when the warm attention you got used to is suddenly gone. Most men don't realize this. They think the challenge is getting her back, but the real challenge is proving to her without saying a word that you're the kind of man worth coming back to. Let me be direct with you. Women rarely pull away for no reason. I know it might feel random, like a storm that came out of nowhere, but there's almost always something underneath it. Understanding what that is matters, because it changes everything about how you should respond. Sometimes, she's overwhelmed. Life gets heavy. Work is stressful. Family stuff is complicated. Her mind is crowded with things that have nothing to do with you. During these seasons, most women naturally retreat. They need space to think. They need quiet to process. And here's where men get it wrong. You think her silence is about you, when really, she's just trying to sort through her own world. Sometimes, she's testing you, not in a cruel way, but women pay attention to how men behave under pressure. They want to see if your confidence is real, or if it only exists when everything's easy. Can you stay calm when she's not texting? Can you keep your peace when you don't know where you stand? Can you respect yourself when she's not giving you attention? A man who can do these things is rare, and when a woman sees that you can, it changes how she looks at you. Sometimes, things have become too predictable. If she knows exactly what you'll do, say, and think every day, if you're always available, always waiting, always hoping the mystery is gone. And without mystery, without that sense that there's more to discover, attraction starts to fade. It's like a fire that needs oxygen. Suffocate it with constant availability, and it dies. And sometimes, and this is the one men don't want to consider, she's wondering about other options. She might be evaluating whether you're really what she wants. She's creating distance to think clearly, without the pressure of you trying to hold on. Here's the truth. All of these reasons require the same response. And that response is not to chase her. Let's talk about why you feel that urge to chase. It's not weakness. It's actually rooted in how you're wired as a man. You want to do something. You want to fix the problem. You want to take action. That's not bad. That's your nature. But in this situation, taking action is exactly the wrong move. When you chase, you're sending a message without intending to. You're saying, your attention is more important than my self-respect. Your feelings matter more than my peace of mind. I need you to tell me I'm okay. And that message is the opposite of attractive. Think about it from her perspective. If you're calm, your confidence, your sense of peace all depend on how she's treating you, then you're not actually calm or confident. You're dependent. And nobody is attracted to someone who is emotionally dependent on them. It creates pressure, not passion. Here's what happens in the mind of a woman when a man chases her during her withdrawal. First, she feels pressure. She didn't ask for your panic. She just needed space. But instead of getting it, she's got incoming messages, longer explanations, more effort. The space she wanted is closing in. Second, she loses respect. A man who only holds it together when she's being nice? That's not real strength. Real strength shows up when things are uncertain. Third, she gets annoyed. Now the dynamic has shifted from connection to obligation. She's not thinking about how much she likes you. She's thinking about how to give you the space you need to calm down. And that's when what started as her pulling back becomes her full exit. So, here's the thing that most men struggle to accept. The strongest response to her distance is your absence. I'm not talking about absence as a game. I'm not talking about disappearing to make her jealous or to teach her a lesson. That's manipulation, and it never works long-term anyway. I'm talking about something much more powerful, being genuinely okay without her attention. When she creates distance, your job is to let her have it. Not bitterly, not angrily, not as punishment, but simply because you respect both her need for space and your own need for dignity. Here's what you actually do. You don't send that text. You don't call to see if everything's okay. You don't ask what you did wrong. You don't try to convince her that you're worth her time. You don't become someone else trying to be what you think she wants. Instead, you acknowledge the situation and you move on. You redirect your energy into your own life, your work, your hobbies, your friends, your health, the parts of your world that have nothing to do with whether she texts back. Now here's where most men get confused. They think this means you're giving up. You're not. You're actually doing the opposite. You're choosing yourself. And that choice is what creates real attraction. When you respond to her distance with your own emotional balance, something shifts in her perception of you. She expected you to panic. She's probably seen it before. Men who can't handle their own feelings, who need her to validate them, who fall apart when the attention stops. She was bracing herself for that. Instead, what she sees is something different. She sees a man who stays calm, who keeps living, who doesn't disintegrate when she's not immediately available, who has a life outside of needing her, and that creates curiosity. Curiosity is powerful. It's more powerful than 1,000 heartfelt explanations. When she wonders why you're not chasing her, when she notices you're not falling apart, when she sees you moving forward with your own life now, her mind is engaged. Now she's asking questions, not because you forced her to, but because you gave her space to actually think about you. The silence you were terrified of becomes the thing that brings her back. But, and this is important, that might not happen. She might stay away. And that's where the real freedom comes in. When you stop chasing and stay grounded, only two things can happen. And this is why you're actually in a perfect situation, even if it doesn't feel like it. Option 1, she comes back. The pressure lifts. She has time to think. She remembers the good moments. The curiosity that was buried under her exhaustion surfaces again. Eventually, she reaches out. And when she does, it's because she wants to, not because she felt obligated to respond to your pursuit. If this happens, you've won, because the connection is real. She chose you, and you got her back without losing yourself in the process. Option 2, she doesn't come back. This one hurts, I know. But listen to this carefully. If a woman can walk away permanently just because you gave her space, then no amount of chasing was ever going to keep her anyway. You cannot talk someone into loving you. You cannot negotiate feelings. You cannot convince someone to choose you if they've already chosen not to. So if she stays away, you win, because you kept your dignity. You didn't lose yourself begging for someone who was already walking out the door. You didn't spend months or years trying to convince someone to care. You kept your self-respect intact. Either way, you're not losing. That's what most men don't understand. But here's what I really want you to see. This isn't just about getting a specific woman back. This is about becoming the kind of man who doesn't need to chase anyone. When you don't panic during her distance, you're proving something to yourself. You're proving that you can be okay without someone else's approval. You're proving that you have a life that matters beyond one relationship. You're proving that your peace doesn't depend on someone else's mood. That's the transformation that actually changes your future. A lot of men in your stage of life, and I'm speaking to men in their 50s, 60s, and 70 seconds, you've learned a lot about life. You've had success, you've had failures, you know what matters. But sometimes, when something romantic comes along, all that wisdom gets set aside. You become willing to compromise your peace for a chance at connection. That's the real issue to fix, not getting her back, becoming the man who doesn't feel desperate for any one specific woman. The man who has his own direction, the man who is still building, still growing, still pursuing his own goals. The man who sees a woman as an addition to his life, not the center of it. That man doesn't have to chase. Women are naturally drawn to him. Let me tell you about a man I know. We'll call him Robert. He's in his late 60s. Smart man, successful, had a good marriage for decades. It ended, and he was alone for a while. Then he met someone. Everything felt new and exciting. She was engaged, present, and he felt like maybe this was his second chance at something real. Then she started pulling back. His first instinct, like most men, was to lean in. He called her more. He asked if everything was okay. He sent long messages about his feelings. He was trying so hard to hold on to something, he could feel slipping away. She got colder, more distant. Finally, Robert told me something that changed his entire approach. He said, "I've already lived 60-something years. I've built a business. I've raised kids. I've done real things. Why am I sitting here waiting for one woman to text me back? That's not the man I've become." Something clicked for him. He stopped texting. He stopped calling. He went back to his golf. He had dinner with friends. He worked on a project he'd been putting off. He went to the gym. He started living again. 3 weeks later, she reached out, asked how he was, started conversations. The dynamic completely shifted. Was it magic? No. It was something much simpler. She saw a man with his own life, a man who didn't need her to be okay. And that version of a man? That's attractive at any age. So let's get specific about what you do when she pulls away. Because understanding the concept is one thing, living it is another. Acknowledge that she's creating distance. Don't pretend it's not happening. Don't make excuses for her. Just see it clearly. Second, respect it. She's asking for space. Even if it's not stated out loud, her actions are clear. Respect that request. You cannot convince her to care, so stop trying. Let go of the outcome. Fourth, redirect everything back into your world. This is not a waiting period. This is not time on pause until she gets back to you. This is your life. Live it. Fifth, stay calm. When the urge to reach out hits, and it will pause, breathe. Ask yourself if you're about to chase from a place of strength or from a place of fear. If it's fear, don't do it. And sixth, trust that if she's supposed to be in your life, she will be. And if she's not, that's okay too. You'll be fine either way because your peace doesn't depend on her. Here's something most dating advice doesn't talk about, especially for men at your stage. You have something younger men don't have. You have experience. You have perspective. You know that relationships come and go. You know that life is long. You know that one woman isn't the difference between a meaningful life and an empty one. Use that wisdom. Use that perspective. Don't abandon it the moment someone gives you attention. Real attraction is built on respect, and respect is built on a man who knows his worth. Not in an arrogant way, in a quiet, centered way. A man who can say no. A man who can walk away. A man who doesn't need someone else to tell him he's okay. That man is rare. And he's attractive at any age. So if you're in this situation right now, if there's someone you care about and she's gone quiet, and you're fighting the urge to reach out, hear this. Your instinct to chase is normal, but it's not helpful. The thing that will serve you, the thing that will actually change the dynamic, is the thing that's hardest to do. Patience, calmness, letting her be exactly where she is while you keep moving forward. When you do this, one of two things happens. Either she comes back because she sees who you really are, or she doesn't, and you keep your dignity. Both are wins. But the bigger win, the real transformation, it's becoming the kind of man who doesn't fall apart when a woman creates distance. Because that kind of man, he doesn't have to chase anyone. They come to him. If you found this helpful, I want to invite you to stay connected with us. We talk a lot about the real psychology of attraction, the things nobody else is saying, the wisdom that actually works for men at this stage of life. Subscribe so you don't miss it. And if you're dealing with something like this right now, or you have in the past, I'd love to hear your story in the comments. What did you do? What would you do differently now? Let's learn from each other. Stay strong. Stay calm. And remember, The best way to win is to stop playing a game and start being the man you actually are.